July 24, 1895. The Daily Star, Fredericksburg, Virginia. The Holmes Murders. Mrs. Peitzel will tell all she knows about the monster. Still searching Holmes' house. Further finds which the police believe will fasten the murder of Minnie Williams, a house built for the purpose of deliberate slaughter. Chicago, July 23rd. Mrs. B.F. Peitzel is back in Chicago after her trip to Toronto for the identification of the bodies of her children. She is now ready to tell all that she knows regarding the operations of Holmes as an insurance agent. He made important statements regarding the swindles and measure to carry them out, but says she was kept in ignorance that any of them entailed murder. Bones and articles of clothing were turned up in Holmes' house yesterday. Some of them were from the butcher shop, but others of the bones resembled those of a human body. In a chest holding secret belongings of Holmes, the police found a vest identified as one long worn by Holmes and bearing dark stains resembling blood. Other articles of underwear, etc. were found. A shirt had the initials GBD worked in red letters. The box was found under the floor and was covered over with a layer of fire brick. In the cellar, near where the bones were found, a woman's shoe was turned up with evidence of fire on the bottom of the sole. As the earth where these articles were found was not removed in laying the foundation of the house, no reason for their burial can be assigned by the police, except to hide murder. Close by is the bottom of the shaft, which made quick connection between the top of the house and the basement, while just over the spot is the blind stairway, which leads into the third floor by the trap door placed under the stationary bathtub. A meeting of the detectives engaged on the examination of the house was held last night, and they announced that in their opinion, the house had been constructed for the purpose of deliberate slaughter. More care than ever will now be exercised in searching the premises. Holmes was formally charged with the crime of murder today. A warrant for his arrest on that charge was sworn out by A. Minier, nephew of Julia L. Connor of Muscatine, Iowa. Holmes is charged in the warrant with having murdered Mrs. Connor sometime between August 1st and November 1st, 1892. The warrant was placed in the hands of the police, and while it cannot be served at the present, it will be acted on the instant Holmes is freed from the charges pending against him in Philadelphia. July 27, 1895. The Daily Star, Fredericksburg, Virginia. Holmes' Charnel house. Still unearthing evidence against the arch-conspirator. One of his pals discovered. This man, who is serving a sentence for horse theft, declares that one of the Williams girls is still alive. Important evidence looked for. Chicago, July 27. Workmen at Holmes' morgue yesterday dug up a piece of bone, and Dr. Robinson says it is part of a human anatomy. The doctor says it is certainly human bone, but he cannot determine to what part of the anatomy it belongs. An old sponge was also found, and as it is discolored, the police suspect that possibly it was once saturated with blood. A chemical analysis is being made. The most important discovery made at the central station is the disclosure of the identity of the expressman who is supposed to have done the trucking for Holmes. He lives in the neighborhood, and pending his examination by the detectives, the department refuses to reveal his name. It is declared this man was accustomed to visit the flat late at night or very early in the morning. This was at a time when Holmes' troubles were greatest, and he was dividing time between causing women to disappear and dodging all manner of creditors. George W. Harris, alias B.A. Ziegel, is in the custody of a detective agency under suspicion of being a confederate of Holmes in his insurance swindles. Harris has passed under a string of aliases, having also been known as B.A. Simpkins and Alfred H. Post. He was chief promoter in the Taylor Edition first mortgage swindles in St. Paul, which caught many Chicago people. Much importance is attached to the arrest of Harris, as it is believed by the police and detective agency which now has him in charge that if they can run down people who were associated with Holmes in his insurance swindles, they will find those who can tell of the murders which it is supposed Holmes has committed. One of the important finds made by the police in their search of the castle was a bench covered with stains resembling blood. The bench was found in a deserted storeroom next to the apartment in which Pat Quinlan slept. Dr. Robinson, who was called to examine the stains on the bench, said they were undoubtedly blood. It is believed by the police that Holmes used the bench as an operating table on which he dismembered his victims before disposing of their bodies. Chief of Police Radnock put Pat Quinlan and his wife through another severe examination yesterday. It is believed that the pair can give sensational evidence if they can be made to talk, and Quinlan will be kept under police guard. Minnie Williams while in Denver. Denver, July 27. The unfortunate Minnie Williams and her sister, whom Holmes is accused of having murdered, came to Denver early in 1892 with their brother, who was in poor health. They took rooms at the Devonshire, an apartment at 1425 Logan Avenue, and soon became very popular with the other guests. Minnie was about 25 or 26 years of age, and besides being apparently well educated, was an accomplished elocutionist. She appeared for 3 weeks on the stage of the old 15th Street Theater as a member of a stock company. Those who knew her affirm that her feelings for Holmes, whom she knew as Harry Gordon at that time, whatever it was no headlong infatuation for a romantic hero. The brother died in the latter part of the winter, and the sisters took the body home to Texas. Holmes reappeared in Denver sometime after the World's Fair, and told several friends of the girl that she had married and had gone to India with her husband. He was a pal of Holmes. Little Rock, July 27. It was discovered at Fort Worth, Texas, a few days ago that the Arkansas Penitentiary holds a former pal of H. Holmes, the alleged murderer of Peitzel and others, and that he is in possession of valuable information. His name is John C. Allen, alias John H. Caldwell, alias John C. Caldwell, and he is serving a 15-year sentence in the Arkansas Penitentiary for horse stealing. Sheriff W. M. Ray of Fort Worth had a long conversation with Ray, will remain in Little Rock 2 or 3 days longer, and intimates that if Allen will give him the information he wants, he will have accomplished more than all the detectives in the country who have been working so long on the Holmes case.